Hello, everybody from This Day in Metal. I am Justin, your friendly neighborhood metalhead, and I always forget where to point. Okay, over there. I'm here with Vicky Boyer of the band Exomnus. She's also with her YouTube channel Aerial Music, and she also is a voiceover actress. So, hello, Vicky. How are you doing today?
I'm really good. Thank you so much for having me. How are you doing?
I'm doing okay myself. A little tired, but I'm getting by. So let's start with the simple beginning part. You do have your YouTube channel, Aerial Music, where you kind of do vocal covers, all that kind of fun stuff. What made you decide to start the YouTube channel doing that?
What made I just wanted to do music. I felt like, writing music, it's a really time consuming. It takes a lot of energy, a lot of creative juice. You're not always in the mood to write. And I'm a big music fan. I just wanted to sing some of my favorite songs on there, and that takes a little bit less time. It's more, how can I say it? Like, it's a good in between if you want to keep on doing music while not necessarily putting all of your energy on writing for an album, let's say. So this is why I started doing it.
Nice. So I always want to ask someone who does voiceovers and covers and stuff like that. So like for example, like you did your cover of Devin Townsend's Super Crusher, if I remember the title correctly.
Yeah.
So like for example, like if you decide, hey, I want to do the cover Monday, what is like the process? Like, do you have a goal like to get it done by Sunday? What's your kind of vocal cover process when you do them?
So the first step I would say is have good friends.
Friends help.
Yeah, because the main problem with doing those covers is finding the instrumental for it. Unless you're doing a very known song with like those like copyright free version instrumental, like karaoke version on YouTube that you can just use, you have to prepare the instrumental first. So you have to scan around your
Mhm.
contacts, see who you know is a fan of the artist you want to cover the song, and then reach out to them, ask them if they're interested, then suggest the songs, see if they're in, and then if they're in, you kind of have to wait until they get the instrumental ready for you, right? So that takes
Mhm.
a little while, and once that's ready, I take the instrumental version, I lay my things on it, or I give notes if I want to have something a little bit special. One of my most viewed cover on YouTube is a Rammstein
Mhm.
song for Mein Herz brennt. And I
Yes.
remember my friend at the time, yeah, we were kind of brainstorming for the cover, and we were like, it would be really nice to merge the like acoustic piano version of the song, because there's one that Rammstein released, like re-released recently. I think it was in 2013 or
Sounds about right.
12,
Mhm.
and mix that with the original Mein Herz brennt. And so then we brainstorm, and then he cooked all of the instrumental and then gives it to me. It's usually quite fast for me to do my vocals. I need maybe like a night or two or a full
Okay.
day. Depending on if I have to do harsh vocals, sometimes I'm gonna split in 2 days. Um, and yeah, once that's done, I record a video for it. It's really straightforward. Sometimes we have a video guy. So for the Super Crush song,
Mhm.
we asked, it's a member of the band Raider. His name
Mhm.
is Gabe Rosa, I think. And he's the one who did the whole video for us. So it was kind of like a collaborative aspect. But if it's just me singing, I just have to put the song and me singing, blend the two, and there you go.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And then you just launched your progressive gothic metal project Exomnus, where you just released your new single Inertia. How did you get started doing that project? And then what's the song Inertia about?
So I started the project, it was like almost 5 years ago now, under another name and with other musicians completely. So that was first, so I was with another band before. I fronted the band Car Chaos for 5 years before that. And then we parted ways in the summer of 2019, I think. And then I was pretty down and I was really looking for to do some music, but it was kind of, tough, and I didn't really believe in myself anymore. I don't want to go all melodramatic, but it was kind of a dark time for me. And I remember I had one of my good friends reach out to me, Chris Donaldson. He's the guitar player from Cryptopsy. He was the one who produced me, and that's how I met him when I recorded my album with Kakias. And he reached out and he was like, I would really like to start a band with you. I'm looking for, something mostly clean with a really like death doom sort of background. I have a good friend and musician. His name is Jim Gregory from Solium Fatalis.
Ah, nice.
So we should like blend it all together, the three of us, and like create a band with that. So that's how we started. And
Okay.
then we had a few songs done. But then Chris, he's just too busy. So that didn't work out with him. At some point, we had to be like, okay, I think you have other things on your plate, and that's completely valid.
Hmm.
So I stayed with Jim for a little while. And then I met Jeff DeMarco, who's our guitar player. He got into the project again, and then we started writing songs together. And then Jim went away. And then I hired my good friend John Moore, who's a composer, and the rest of the band are really close friends in New Hampshire with Jeff and Aaron and Ritia. So we all got together that way. But our lineup is only, I think, the five of us, we got together only like in December, perhaps,
Hmm.
or November of last year. So it is quite recent, but the project and the songs have been, yeah, we started this a long time ago.
Okay. Is it,
And
and you did mention you had other songs, so is like an EP in the works? Is an album in the works? What are we looking at for, is it going to come out at the end of the year, hopefully, fingers crossed, or?
we'll have to see. So we're still discussing. So we definitely have enough songs to release a full-length album.
Okay.
Um, but we are not sure what we want to do with it. So, it's not like I'm not teaching you anything. I think you know that already, but selling albums is not like it used to be, and it's really
Yeah.
hard to finance yourself, right? As a
Hmm.
musician, because it's not even, you never do that to do money because there's
Hmm.
no money.
Yeah.
But you want to be able to at least finance, your albums and your videos and all of that. And I'm not sure if waiting the long route and like getting a full like 12 songs album
Hmm.
ready would be the best way to go about it.
Yeah.
It's kind of soul crushing when you start thinking about it, right?
Yeah.
The art of like creating an album is something that's dying.
Yeah.
Mm.
It's
But
it's
yeah,
going
so
it's going the way of the single or the playlist rule, I call it, where it's singles meant for playlists. No one sadly buys albums anymore, or you have to be creative and do like Patreons, like Empress is doing, where they did it for, oh, you get like band support, it'll support the album, it'll support merch, tour. And I guess that's
exactly.
the new way of doing it now is through like Twitches and Kickstarters and Patreons. And it's just
All
not,
of that.
doing the old shuffle anymore, hosting on record sales. No one's selling 5 million copies anymore, sadly. It's just not the way of the world
Exactly.
anymore.
Yeah. So we're kind of talking about it. We're all pretty old school in the band, so
Mhm.
we would like to have an album, but we're not sure it's the best way to be seen. So we're thinking about doing an EP, and we're definitely going to release some more singles in the upcoming year, but we'll see where that goes.
Nice. Okay. You did mention that you were in the band Carcoas. I pray to God I
Carcass,
say that right. I always have trouble with big Latin words. For many people that don't know, that was Morgan Lander of Kitty's side project or project during the Kitty hiatus. How did you get involved with that project?
So Morgan took the place of the vocalist after I quit, or we parted ways.
Okay.
But so how I got into I was like 20 years old. It was my first metal band. It was already an established band, and back in the days, I was living in Germany,
Hmm.
and then I was about to come back to live in Montreal, and I spend the whole year going to see metal shows, and I realized that okay, I've always been a singer, but I think this is something I would like to do. So singing in a metal band.
Hmm.
And I remember posting like a post like we used to do 10 years ago on Facebook. Um yeah, saying, "Oh, I'm looking for
Yep.
maybe a band for when I'm back in Montreal," and that's just it. And then
Mhm.
around the same time, Carcass parted with their other vocalist before me, and we're
Okay.
looking for somebody new. And I got put in contact with the band like this, so throughout like mutual friends, and I was really intimidated by it because I was never like I was a keyboardist in a really awful Buckethead cover band in high school. And I say keyboardist, but I don't play keys. I'm really
Yeah.
bad at it. So that was my first band and I auditioned for it. My first audition was really bad. I still remember it. I had like a throat infection.
Ooh.
And I remember like bugging the band, like, please give me another
Oh.
audition. Just let me show you what I'm able to do. That was not a good day for me. And they were like, okay. And
Mhm.
then they auditioned me again, and then they got me in that band. So, but I didn't know any of them. It was just through mutual friends. Yeah, I got lucky.
Nice. I mean, does it feel different that like you were like you said you were nervous going in, but how did it feel like I got the band, and then that feeling of like, okay, I can do this. What was
You
kind of
don't
going through
get
that?
that.
You don't get that?
No, I don't get that. Like personally, I don't really get that. I always feel like I'm like the imposter syndrome. That's a classic.
Oh,
It's just like, oh my God, how did I get into it? Like they
oh,
don't know, but I'm really awful. And I hope I can keep on doing this. But yeah, so you just pretend you know what you're doing until you actually do.
You are involved as a voice actress with what's I believe is called the Monster Factory. Can you kind of
Mhm.
tell us how you were involved or what the Monster Factory does? I guess.
I think I got lucky again. I'm a really lucky girl. Back in 2017, I was active with Carcass at that point. I think we just released our album Children of the Void, and the CEO or the president of the Monsters Factory was a friend of the drummer from my band. And he was like, I'm looking for vocalists. I'm looking for women, particularly, because there's a lot of men who do that, especially in Montreal, but not so many women.
Hmm.
For, video games, for voices for video games. And so I got put in contact. We went to have a coffee together, and he was like, "I can't promise you anything, but you have a really good voice. I think that would be good for video games. You seem very versatile. Versatile, sorry."
Hmm.
And so yeah, we started like this. And then the first year, I think I've only done one game, then no game at all, and then a game on the other year, and then this year, I can't even count. This like it went completely crazy. I don't know what happened. I think our president has worked really, really, really hard going to all of those game conventions all over the world,
Hmm.
really getting a name for ourselves, and now it's really working.
Hmm.
And I've been working, I think I've done like one game a month for the past year, which is
Good for
amazing.
you.
I'm not doing that. Yes, thanks.
Is there anything we might recognize you in, or like any famous franchises or anything like that we might know you from
uh
that you can disclose? I don't know if
that
you're.
sort of thing. I'm like, that don't have any NDAs. Let
Mhm.
me think. Well, I did Killer and Dead by Daylight. So that
Nice.
was released last
Mhm.
year. That was amazing. I do the Skull Merchant.
Nice.
So that was really nice. Apart from that, I think I can talk about this. Yeah, I have the Project TL, which is like an extension of Lineage Eternal that came out. Uh, but on the top of my head, I'm like, I don't think anything else I did. I'm able to talk about
Yeah.
now.
Well, that's
Yeah.
fair. I know sometimes with all this kind of stuff, you got to have legality and you can't spoil. Like I just saw on Instagram, you guys announced that with Hellblade Senua's, I can't remember the new title. I apologize to Xbox. Please don't ban my account. That you guys are involved with that. So I know you guys are involved with big titles with that. So it's like, that's cool that you guys are like getting the big scope and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, we're really lucky. Well, I say luck, but our president, Sebastien Croteau, worked relentlessly. He's kind of like a pioneer to do that. And it's so amazing because as metal vocalists, there's no way for us to ever make a penny out of our art unless you're one of those like 3A's Vakken headlining bands.
Yeah.
It's really, really hard, right? And he just
Yeah.
like plucked us and like chose us for something where our talents are actually recognized. So that's really
Yeah.
cool.
Well, it is tough because because you unless you have like the brutal legend from the Xbox 360 that had like Judas Priest and all that, or you had Metal Hellsinger from I think 2 years ago where it had like Christina Scabia from Lacuna Coil,
Yeah.
Will from Lorna Shore. Like so, it's we're starting to kind of get in there, but
Yeah.
unless you're like the Guitar Heroes or the Tony Hawks, it's really hard to get like any cheddar from voice or acting or that kind of thing. So it's kind of
That's
tough
it.
to deal with.
Hmm.
What advice would you give someone who maybe wants to get into the voiceover business or voiceover work, that kind of thing?
That's a great question. I would tell them, work on your craft before. Work on your craft.
Hmm.
You can't come to an agency or a manager or try to sell yourself if you have nothing. You know, like your potential is completely valid, and that's good that you have it. But you should work on your art. The first thing would be play a lot of video games if that's the industry you want to get in. Yeah, you have to listen to what they do. For me, I try to imitate the sounds that I hear. Then you record yourself. Then you're building your portfolio. That's very important because that's what you're gonna want to show the customers and the clients. And I would also say once you're able to kind of get in, you know, with audio company, if ever that's the case. What did I want to say? Oh yeah, do all the auditions once you get the opportunities. Because auditions are great practices. That's when
Yeah.
you realize like, oh, okay, no, that's really good. That's something that I have it. It's mine. I acquired it. That's a talent I have. And then sometimes you get to something and you're like, ah, that one, not so much. And then you can work on it a little bit more. And so yeah, I would say listen a lot, be really open, build a good portfolio, and yeah, that would be my tips.
Definitely, definitely good advice, especially if you want to be like a Troy Baker, Nolan North, all those guys that have been doing it and all the
Yeah,
experience and versatility. You know, like you said, practice, practice. Even if it's looking in the
practice.
mirror and practicing your vowel pronunciations, it's always
Yep.
important.
I sometimes have to text my neighbors, like, please don't call the cops. If you hear anything weird coming from upstairs, that's completely normal. But yeah, it's part of the business. And it's also, I fear like, don't be afraid to look stupid. You're gonna look stupid. Even, you know, like those monsters that I do that I feel like, okay, no, that's a good one.
Yeah.
You look stupid when you do it without, you know, the monster when
Hmm.
it's just you doing it. So don't be afraid of that and really explore what your throat can do. Yeah.
Nice. All right. I also out of curiosity too. So, for example, like when Dead by Daylight reached out to you guys and reached out to you to do the voice, what is the process of getting that set up? Like, do they have a voice in mind? Do you audition with the Monster Factory team? How did that kind of get set up, or how does that process work?
So I'm not sure how much I'm able to disclose about this, but I can tell you about the general process. So
Okay.
there's a few options for companies. They usually have something in mind that they want, and then they're going to send you like an example or the phrases, the sentences, or the sounds. Let's say attack sound or uh, like pain sounds or
Okay.
death or things like that. And then they're gonna say like, oh, raspy or, you know, sort of like general directions. And then you record your audition, you send it away, and then you get casted or you don't, which
Okay.
happens often. Or they could listen to some previous work or pre-auditions that we have. So those are work that we already have. It's on our website. You have to be a member of the Monsters Factory to have access to it. And then on my profile, you have all the sounds, whether that could be troll, it could be like a dragon or spectral sounds or something like that. And then they could choose in that to say like, I want to do my business with that person.
Okay.
Then they have you come over, and then it depends. Sometimes you have a director that is directly from the game that's directing the voice acting, and sometimes you have our voice director Sebastien, who's the president of the. He does a lot of voice directing too, and then we're gonna record all of the sounds, then the sentences, and we keep the worst for last. So it's usually the very awful death and tortures and all of
Hmm.
that stuff. We keep it for the end because then our voice gets tired more
Yeah.
easily. I would say that's about the process. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I can't imagine you screaming for 3 hours. It's like, all right, now you need to read a 5 paragraph essay, like
Yeah.
gravelly voice and gritty, and like, I think you're dying. Like, I can't picture you doing that after just screaming and grunt noises for 2 hours. I can't do that.
No, like especially when you have to do multiple characters and then
Oh,
they don't tell you and then they kept the little like girly character that is super soft voiced for after the growls. It's just like,
oh.
I'm not sure I can do that. So this is why we have like a process of like when we do things. Yeah.
All right. And I always have my interviews with this fun question. What are some bands or artists that you're digging that you think people should be checking out? Whether it's, old albums or old bands or new artists, just anybody you're digging that you kind of want people to check out or people to listen to.
Oh my God. I wish I would have known that question before.
That's
I
why
would
it's
have
fun. It keeps you on your
prepared.
toes.
Oh God. I've been lately, I've been really into Spirit Box.
Nice.
That's a no-brainer. They're so good. They're
Yeah.
really so good.
Yeah.
So that's been on my rotation. Devin Townsend, that's my idol. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm not someone who has a lot of idols and like models, but Devin, yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. I would pay for a meet and greet with that man. I don't care. So everything that Devin touches, it's gold.
Oh yeah.
He's my favorite. Apart from that, I just want to look at my phone to check who are my new artists that I discovered recently. I've been listening to a lot of King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard recently. What else? Rainbow. I've been listening to a lot of Rainbow, but that's not up and coming.
It's I didn't say it'd be new. I said it could be old or new or whatever. So I mean, even if it's like, yeah, listen to Judas Priest 90 times a day, you still listen to Judas Priest. There's nothing wrong with that.
I listen to a lot of Rainbow
Yeah.
Dio. So I think that's about it. That's about what I have on my mind.
That's a pretty good list. I mean, it's definitely a good variety to go through. I mean, eclectic, all of, especially King Gizzard. That whole band is just every album is different, eclectic
Yeah,
stuff.
it's
You can't go
completely
wrong.
eclectic. I have one that I think about now, and I need to say it. That's Major Parkinson. They're a
Ah,
progressive rock band from Norway, so it's not metal. It's sort of like rock, but it's completely psychedelic. It's
mhm,
really weird.
mhm.
So that would be Black Box, Impermanence. Those album amazing. Just you have to check out Major Parkinson. They're not really known, but they're one of my top, like, most favorite bands.
Nice. I will have to check those out. So again, Vicky Boyer, thank you. Thank you for talking with us. Please check out her projects, Exomnus, her YouTube channel, Arrow Music. Listen for her voice if you can detect it in any project she's in. Again, thank you for the opportunity of talking with us. Please have a good day and good luck with all the voiceover metal stuff. We cannot wait to hear it or cover it.
Thank you so much, Justin. It was such a pleasure to chat with you. Okay.
Bye, Vicky.
Okay, bye.